Okay, we're back in the still in menu screen. All these videos are just gonna start with me in the menu screen. Alright, let's go in. Oh boy. There he is.
Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made.
Okay. That was cute, Dagoth Ur, that little pose you do right there. Alright, sup? Let's talk to you.
It began here. It will end here. Have you any parting words? Or would you prefer to skip the speeches and get to our business? You are the challenger here after all. So to you goes the courtesy of the first blow.
Yeah, Dagoth Ur is kind of a gentleman. Like, he'll let you attack first, which, is nice, I guess. I mean, if you're really hip to the groove of not talking to the guy. I want to talk to him. I want to see what his deal is. I mean, he's clearly, you know, he clearly wants to be BFFs with us. Parting words.
Now that you have come to me here, there can be but one result. Many times I have considered offering to share this place with you. I considered offering to accept your oath of service. You might try to buy my trust by giving me Wraithguard, Keening, and Sunder. I thought we might once again be friends, comrades, brothers in arms. But I have won this place in power by right of conquest, by right of daring and enterprise. I will not risk it to cunning and deceit. I offer you no deals. If you are my enemy, I cannot trust you. And even if you are not my enemy, I cannot let you live.
Oh, well, that is less gentlemanly than before.
It will all be decided here. I believe I will prevail, but I cannot be sure, and I am vain enough that, should I fall, I would wish to be remembered in my own words. So, if you have final questions you would ask them now. I have final questions I would ask you, if you would answer.
Huh. Okay, well, it's good that you're not, you know, one of those villains who's like, I cannot be defeated, mwaha. That's good. That's nice, Dagoth Ur. You're refreshing. Alright, final questions.
My first question is, are you really Nerevar reborn?
You can say anything here. I believe the I'm a self-willed hero and I make my own fate option is the best one because he congratulates you for it. If you say you are Nerevar reborn, he's like, alright, well, neat, I guess. But if you say that you're a self-willed hero, he's like, fuck yeah, you fist bump it right now and we're gonna fucking fight, it'll be great. I don't really know what to answer. I kind of want to do that one, but I could be wrong. It could be one of the other ones. It could be I know no more than you do, but I'm gonna do this one.
You are bold. I honor your independence. You are one to teach the gods their limits. I hope the bards will praise the glory of your death in song.
Yeah, I hope they do too, except that I'm not gonna die, so, you know, whatever.
My second question is, if you win, what do you plan to do with the power from the heart? Will you make yourself a god and establish a thearchy? Or will you complete a Kulakan and dispute control of Tamriel with the Septums? Or will you share the heart with your followers, as I have, and breed a new race of divine immortals?
I have my own plans. I don't really want to do any of those things, because I want to destroy the shit out of it. So, you know, there's that. We'll say that. I don't really, you know, I guess we could say anything we wanted, but we're gonna go ahead and be truthful here.
Well, perhaps there may be surprises in store for me yet. Or perhaps you obscure your plans on principle. Or perhaps you are an instinctive bluffer. No matter.
Yep. I'm a chronic liar is what I am.
My final question is, if I had offered to let you join me, would you have surrendered Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening to me to seal your oath?
I just want to take a pause right now, by the way, to say that apparently this game was rushed to completion and there were some other things in the game that that were supposed to be in the game and didn't end up being there, such as joining the 6th house. I don't know if this was actually part of that quest, but considering how often the Dagoth Ash vampires say things like, he wants you to join us, he wants you to be our best friend, and shit like that, maybe you would be able to join him at this point, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of neat. It's kind of too bad that they didn't have the time to finish that. There were other things too. I read about this, again, on TV Tropes. I guess also they were intending to spread the blight the longer you didn't beat the quest, I think, maybe. So, that would have sucked, because I usually spend time in the south to avoid the blight. But, anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting, since this just came up right here. I wouldn't join him. I mean, the guy's kind of an asshole, like, I don't know, I mean, he's gentlemanly and everything, but no, fuck that. Nope.
Thank you for your forthright response. And now, if you have any questions, ask them. Otherwise, you are the challenger. I await your first blow.
Okay, see, at least he's like, well, thank you for being honest. You know, there's that. So, anyway, we're gonna ask questions, because I'm kind of curious as to what he can actually...
What are your questions?
I'm curious as to what he can actually answer. So, what is your plan for the heart?
I will continue to draw divine power from the heart and distribute it to my kin and followers. I will continue to broadcast divine power upon the blight winds, so that it will touch each soul on Vardenfell, and then, more broadly, across the waters to the rest of Morrowind and Tamriel. In time, every mortal in Tamriel shall feel the liberating contact with the divine.
Oh, okay.
What are your questions?
I think it's kind of interesting that he intends to spread the blight across the whole world. So really, when you're defeating him here, you're saving the world, not just Morrowind. And I know a lot of people, there's sort of this sad sort of realization that your actions as the main character in Morrowind actually affect the province of Morrowind for generations to come, like the stuff that's happening to Morrowind in Skyrim, in case you haven't played Skyrim. And if you don't want to be spoiled for what happens to Morrowind in Skyrim, which is such a minor thing, don't listen, skip ahead a little bit, but in Skyrim, Morrowind has been destroyed, basically. That floating moon above Vivec has fallen. It hit Vivec, because you're supposed to destroy the Heart of Lorkhan. The Heart of Lorkhan is what gives Vivec his powers. Vivec is the only thing holding that moon up. When you destroy the heart, it takes Vivec's powers... Well, it doesn't take his powers away, but it prevents him from ever renewing his powers. So they eventually fade. He can't hold the moon up anymore. The moon hits Vivec, causes Red Mountain to erupt, and basically destroys the entire island of Vardenfell and a lot of the mainland of Morrowind. So, because of what you did in the game Morrowind, you basically were the cause of its destruction. However, you did technically save the whole world from the blight, so it kind of works out. I just think that's kind of interesting, and very sad. Alright, what is your plan for the 6th house?
The 6th house will serve as the elite cadre of our movements. As cultists evolve through various stages of enlightenment, they will become, as suits their abilities, either holy warriors or priests. Their duty is to prepare themselves for service. Their joy and liberation is to enter ever more deeply into the profound enlightenment of the divine dream world.
It's kind of funny that Dagoth Ur is super convinced that, like... I don't know, he refers to it as such a religion-y thing, like they will become priests and holy warriors. Dude, they're like mutants right now. You've mutated them into horrible, eldritch creatures. I don't think that's technically the same thing. What he is referring to, though, by the way, is that if you get corpus disease, I'm pretty sure, you will either become a corpus creature or you'll become a sleeper / ascended dreamer or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's what he's referring to. But I could be wrong, because I am not all-knowing when it comes to Morrowind. Anyway, let's continue, because we're getting on in this video and we've got a lot of questions to ask.
What are your questions?
What's your plan for the Dunmer?
I will free the Dunmer from the Imperial yoke and cast down the false gods of the temple. I will lead them out of their ancient superstitions and gift them with intimate knowledge of the divine. Then, perhaps, when Morrowind is once again restored to its ancient glories, it will be time to consider whether the Dunmer should cultivate ambitions of empire.
It's also interesting that he wants to free the Dunmer from the Imperials when technically that is Nerevar's job. Also interesting that Nerevar is, an outlander and therefore exactly what they wanted Nerevar to get rid of. I just think it's interesting that, the Dunmer don't like outlanders, but they tolerate them. The Ashlanders really, really hate outlanders and would love Nerevar to come and drive them out. But then when Dagoth Ur comes along and says that he's going to do the same thing, they get all pissy about it. They call him, the devil, basically. I think that's kind of interesting. I understand that maybe they don't like his methods, because he is sort of blighting the entire world. But, I don't know. I think it's kind of an interesting contrast with the villain actually doing what the people you're trying to defend want to happen. I don't know. That was a really convoluted sentence, but I think it's kind of interesting.
What are your questions?
How do you justify your crimes?
If, by my crimes, you mean the inevitable suffering and destruction caused by war, then I accept the burden of leadership. The Sixth House cannot be restored without war. Enlightenment cannot grow without the risk of upsetting the tradition-bound and complacent herd. And the mongrel armies of the Empire cannot be expelled from Morrowind without bloodshed. As I have charity and compassion, I grieve. But our mission is just and noble.
Alright.
What are your questions?
What happened to the Dwemer? Please tell.
I have no idea what happened to the Dwemer. I've been denied the opportunity to study Wraithguard, and I am not sure how much of Kagranak's lore was invested in his tools, and how much in his own sorcery and mastery. I have long studied Kagranak, and have come to admire his wisdom and craft. Someday, after the campaigns of the Sixth House are secure, I hope to have time to dedicate to this mystery.
He's kind of an interesting villain. He's one of those good villains.
Questions?
He's one of those good villains where he's not just trying to destroy the world because he's evil. He has a real reason for doing it. Not that I necessarily agree with his reason for doing it, but, from his point of view, he's absolutely right. These people have invaded his country, and he needs to drive them out. And then once that's done, he can relax and study things and be a scholar. And I just think it's kind of interesting that he's a good villain. Even if I kind of hate his guts and want to punch his face in. His weird, masked face. Why are you building a Kulakan?
A Kulakan will serve three purposes. First, it will be the champion of my armies, liberating first Vardenfell, then Morrowind, and then perhaps the rest of Tamriel. Second, it will serve as a sower and cultivator of the divine substance derived from the heart. 3. It will serve as the prominent banner and symbol of our cause, to defy the Empire, to liberate mortals from ancient superstitions, and to glorify our crusade against the gods.
It's kind of weird that he wants to build a crusade against the gods when he himself has acquired godhood? I guess, godhood, by using the heart. Doesn't that seem sort of hypocritical to say, oh, well, fuck gods, we don't like those people, these man-made gods. Let me just go ahead and give myself divine power. Yeah, way to go, Dagoth Ur. Also, isn't it kind of funny that he says first, second, and then 3? Why not third? It will serve as the prominent banner, blah, 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 blah. That's kind of weird to me.
What are your questions?
Okay, the last thing... Really? Did I ask all these things? Our business? No. Okay, the only thing we have left is I'm finished talking, defend yourself, and then we'll fight Dagoth Ur, but it's been 15 minutes! I apologize that this was an entire video of talking, but, it's kind of important, I think, to understand this villain's motivations before we murder him, so... when we come back, we will fight Dagoth Ur and maybe finish the game. I don't know. I thought that this was going to be the last video, but I was totally wrong because I know nothing about this ending. So, thank you for watching, and I will be back momentarily.